But this wholesale bailout, I mean, we don't have the money. Kevin, we don't have the money. We're broke. So I want to ask you, where do we get the money to pay for all these people to stay home because we want to keep them safe?
I mean, if you want to know my opinion, I personally believe that we should defund the military at least by 50%, take all that money out of the Pentagon, remove ourselves from endless wars such as Iraq and Afghanistan, and reallocate those resources into social welfare programs, whether that's universal health care. We've seen the other countries in the developed world with universal single payer.
Have you ever lived in a country with universal health care?
I have not. No. So
I'm a citizen of one called the United Kingdom.
Oh yeah.
I lived there for 16 years.
Mm-hmm.
Universal health care stinks. I lived underneath it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've heard arguments.
So you don't even know what you're asking for.
Well,
I know. I lived it.
I certainly agree that there are issues that can be fixed, and you're right. I have never lived there, and I'm also aware that the NHS has been massively defunded in recent decades.
Where do those people? Where do the really sick people in England go to get health care?
I mean, doesn't the NHS technically supposed to cover everyone?
Yeah, but they can't. They don't have the money for the high tech stuff, so they fly to America.
Yeah. No, I'm aware of the argument, and I'm in favor of a robust.
It's not an argument; it's fact. I lived it. I'm just telling you, it's fact. You want something that you've never lived under? I've lived under it for 16 years, and I still am a British citizen.
I mean, that's fair. A lot of people are living in America though under our current system, and they would also say it's not working out very well for them, especially.
Nothing's perfect. Nothing's perfect, but I'm just telling you that universal health care is not the answer.
Okay, well, I agree that the NHS has its issues, and especially, like I said, I think austerity cuts have really taken a lot of the robustness out of their social safety net. If you look to other countries, especially in the Scandinavian region, I think you'll find much better success rates for a universal healthcare system. So again, that's a whole other debate. We don't have to get.
Oh, I know. If you want to, we can talk about the Scandinavian tax rates too. If you want to go down that route as well.
Sub Zach, are you here? You're muted, by the way.
I apologize, guys. Sorry about that. I just came back in from internet, but I didn't want to interrupt the conversation. You guys go ahead.
Okay. Well, yeah, we were just talking about universal health care, and Scott is apparently from the UK. He does not have such great experiences with a single payer system. Anything in specific you want to say, like experiences you've had, Scott, that maybe you would say weren't so great there?
In general, they basically take, of the dollars that they get, they take 20% bringing you into life, 20% having you have a nice way out of life, right? So birth and death, they spend 40% of their budget on, and the middle 60% is for everything else, every other ailment, okay? So let's just take it like you guys are young, right? You might play football or soccer or softball after this show or whatever you do, right? And if you sprain your ankle, under universal health care, you'll go into the doctor and they'll say, okay, you need surgery. Please come back in 14 months. We'll give you free, it's free, but you have to wait 14 months to get the surgery. That's universal health care.
Yeah, see, I think that's perfectly reasonable criticism that you would have a delayed wait time. However, I think that as Americans, we should strive to set the new bar in universal health care and make sure that, in the same way that our federal tax dollars go to the military, which has become the premier military in the entire nation, I think we could just as easily set our minds to having the premier healthcare system, as well as, and one problem that we do have in the United States that they don't seem to have in Britain is the 68,000 people who die every year because they don't have health insurance. They also don't have the massive numbers of people who go into bankruptcy because they are taking care of themselves.
I'm not a healthcare expert. I didn't come on to talk about healthcare. I can just tell you the difference between ours and theirs and how everybody thinks theirs is better. And I'm telling you, it's not. Now, you can go into the details. I don't have an answer for everything, and ours is not perfect by any means. But universal health care, I've lived under it. I still live under it when I lived there, is not the answer. That's all I can say.
Sure.
Yeah, that's fair. And we didn't have you on to discuss healthcare either. To be fair, it was you who brought it up when I mentioned that that's where I would prefer our resources be allocated in this country, because you asked me how I ideally would come up the money to handle healthcare and a robust social safety net, the likes of which could pay people to stay home during lockdown. And my answer to that was that we should defund our overly robust military, as Zach mentioned, and reallocate it into resources such as a universal healthcare system, which, as Zach mentioned, could make us a leader in the world as we pretend to be. But like the 68,000 deaths says, certainly is not true, unless we are talking about the military, which in case I'm sure we do have the finest technology around. And also, I think it's worth saying that despite the arguments against universal health care in other countries, a lot of people that do have the systems actually would not trade them. This is anecdotal, sure, but Joshua in the comments says he's from Canada and would go to war for his healthcare. I don't think if you would, ask many Canadians, especially lower income Canadians, for example, if they would trade in their healthcare system for American, private insurance. I don't think that the majority of them would be rushing to that position. Again, we don't have to keep going down the healthcare rabbit hole, but you did kind of bring it up there.
Yeah, I did, because there's a ton of Canadians that come over here again, just like a ton of
rich ones, super rich ones, not poor ones.
Right, because they're coming to the best medicine. That's what it is. It's not money; it's the best medicine.
Yeah, we have the
That's
best.
What you forget. So we can give a bad service to everybody, right? We can do that. Is that what your answer is?
I would rather see a median healthcare that's equitably distributed than top tier for the opulent. I think that's an easy question for me.
I agree, and I'd like everybody to get a pink unicorn as well. I mean, I'm just telling you that.
Yeah, but unicorns don't exist. Universal healthcare does,
and it's bad.
I think 68,000 people a year say otherwise, man.
Well, I've got two guys telling me that they want that and they don't live under it, and I have.
I mean, again, you have insurance, though, in America. If you didn't have insurance in America, I don't think you would have that position. If you had no insurance whatsoever and you had a fill-in-the-blank emergency, I think you'd much rather be living in Canada than here.
So are a lot of people dying on the streets on the way to the hospitals that can't get seen by hospitals in America? They get seen.
And then they die dead. And actually, the deaths that do come are from the inability to afford, prescription drug prices that our insurance, is supposed to take care of us.
You're right. We buy those from Canada, and Donald Trump did a great job of bringing down those prices.